Okay, so welcome to another Squeak Chimp tutorial, and today I'm really excited because I have spent some money on myself and I have got some new toys, and I thought I would just share with you the unboxing of them and the review of them, and just to give you some kind of ideas on how we in the paper beading community can use them. So I've bought these, which are border buddies, and generally they are used for quilling. So you can see we've got a circle, an oval, a triangle, a square. That's the handle that you can stick in the bottom of them. We've got a rectangle, a drop shape, a sort of teardrop shape, and lastly we've got a pentagon. And so, as I said, they are generally used for the quilling community, but I think they are the perfect accompaniment for our paper beading world. So without further ado, let me attempt to get into this packaging. So I'm going to need some trusty old scissors because I don't want to break my nails, which I have spent ages trying to actually grow on my little fat chipolata of fingers. So let's pop the packaging off. And what a waste of plastic. I'm not sure it really needed this plastic around it, but ho-hum. We'll see if we can find some use for that. So let's try and get into the box. Okay. Right. Can't pull it off. I don't want to rip the box. Let me try and take the lid off and give a little pull from that side. Here we go, it's coming, it's coming. Sorry, I might hit the camera. There we go, right, we are off. Okay, so take the outer sleeve off and we are left with the box. Now, I've never used these border buddies before, but I'm thinking that actually, do I really need to keep this as packaging? Well, it might end up as beads at some point. So I've never used these border buddies before and I'm quite excited. I've never actually seen them in real life. I've seen people use them. So let's dive in and have a look at what they are actually going to look like inside. I got these off of Amazon, and yep, they weren't hugely expensive. They were a little bit of a treat for myself. And so okay, we are going to get into the box. Here we go. Oh, and what do you know? A bit more plastic. Marvellous. Just what the world needs. More plastic. Okay, so here they are. Right, there they are, bigger than I was expecting them to be. But that's not a problem. So you can see that we have got the teardrop shape, which is quite funky, and we have got, what's coming out next? I've got circle, I've got I think that's the oval, I've got the rectangle shape, I've got the triangle, square, and the last one will be the pentagon, more like, and then this will be the handle, which will go on the bottom of them so that you can hold them as you're using them. And it's obviously detachable, and you could probably store bits and pieces in it if you really needed to. So that is the first thing that I purchased. And then I got a bit excited when I was looking on Amazon. And I also bought some quilling papers. Now, these are pearlized quilling papers, and I could have bought pearlized paper and I could have cut these strips myself, but couldn't be bothered, if I'm honest. So I purchased some, and these are 3mm in diameter. You get 8 different colours, and there is a total of 320 strips, so there's 40 of each colour, and each of the strips are 14 inches long. So let's go through the colours and I will see whether I can tell you what they are called. So the first one is a silver, so they're all pearlized, metallic pearlized colours, so that is a silver. The next one I think is going to be called crystal. That one I think is possibly Punch. I think they might have called it Punch. Not sure. It's kind of a purpley winey colour. We've got a rose quartz, which is really pretty. We've got a juniper, I think, gold. I think the next one is sapphire. And I think what they're calling this one is not a sneeze. Excuse me. Oh, bless me. Okay, and as you can see, you get a thank you card in there, and I've got a feeling that I might well be making some paper beads with that because I really don't like to waste anything. And then they have sent us a handy dandy little cardboard ruler. No idea what I'm going to use that for, but I think in a minute I will probably measure one of these 3mm strips, and I will show you what that is in inches, and I'm fairly certain it is 1/8 of an inch. Some kind of weird instruction booklet included. I don't know quite what that's for, but yeah. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how you can use these strips to make some little frames, and if you stay tuned to the end of the video, I will show you what we're actually going to make with them, because I'm going to make a little bit of a project and I'm going to give you some ideas on what we're going to do. So stay tuned. Okay, so you can see I have selected 3 colours. We've got the white, which I think they call crystal, we've got the gold, and we've got the rose quartz. And these are all held together with glue at each end. So if you're not familiar with quilling strips, they come in little packs like this, and they are all held together each end with a little bit of kind of rubbery squishy glue. So hopefully you can see in the camera the kind of pearlized effect of these papers. They are really pretty, really soft, really gentle, really just a little bit special, just a little bit, you know, away from your norm. I mean, I love my magazine paper, don't get me wrong, but every so often we all need a little bit of luxury in our life. So in order to use these, what you need to do is you just pop a strip off one end and pop it off the other end and put the rest to one side. Now the first strip off of each set will have a little bit of extra glue on. So hate wasting anything, I mean literally. So I'm just going to pull the tape off of one end, but the other end I'm going to trim that off, because one end you'll never notice it because it will be wound round it. So our first little one that we're going to make, and of course I could have chosen an easy shape like a circle, but oh no, we're going to go for the pentagon, and we're going to go on the 3rd rung down. So as you can see on these border buddies, they have ever increasing or ever decreasing sizes of the shape, so you can make whatever shape you like. And I'm having a little issue with my glue bottle. We're not going to need lots, so that'll do, and I'm just going to throw it everywhere. I think I've possibly slightly taken clumsy pills today because I keep dropping everything and everything just seems to keep going everywhere. But anyway, so what we do is you pop your little bit of strip on the right place, and you don't need a lot of glue, because what you don't want to do is glue your strip to your border buddy. We are purely using this just to form a shape. So hold it in place, and at this point I haven't put the handle on the border buddy, and in hindsight it probably would have been a better idea, because I would have had a little bit more to hold on to. So you get the first one just going round, and then you can just keep turning. And what you're trying to do, just like when we're making a tube bead in paper beads, is you want the sides to line up. So we're just going to keep rolling this round. And these strips are a fairly standard size strips in terms of the length. They're 14 inches, which I can magically tell you is 35 centimetres. Well, hey, I'm on it with the calculations and the measurements today. So just keep turning them. And I mean, obviously I've chosen the the most complicated shape to use first of all, because, you know, I don't want to do things by halves. I could have chosen a circle, but actually in some ways I think the circle is more likely to just twist itself round, whereas at least because this has got the corners, it is just kind of staying in place. So we need a little bit of extra glue, just dab a little bit on the end, and again it doesn't take a lot. And then we can just smooth that last little bit down in order to make our shape. So there we go. Can you see? We've made a pentagon. And I'm just going to pinch the corners just to make sure that they've got a really nice shape to them. And then when we are ready, we can just ease it up. So just pop it up, and there we go. The first shape I've made using these border buddies, which is quite funky. I mean, look at that. What a cute little shape. So again, stay tuned to the end because I'm going to show you what we can do with them, and I think you will be quite surprised at some of the ideas that of how we can use them. So they need to be glazed. So I am going to get some of my trusty decoupage ultra gloss, and I'm going to start by glazing just the top of this shape. So with a cocktail stick, I'm just going to glaze the top edge. Now what I really like about this glaze is it kind of creates it creates a seal to whatever you're using, and if you're using glue, paper, is fantastic because you don't want your beads to come apart. You don't want them to sort of fall apart. You know, you want to create that nice seal. But what I also like about this glaze is it moulds to the shape. And so, you know, like when you use resin on something and you get that domed appearance, well, that's kind of what this resin does, but on a much smaller scale. So these ends of this little border will look really pretty, and they will be quite rounded. They will be finished off really nicely. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of glaze to this really carefully, and then once that's done, I will let it sit, and then I will make the other two. So I'm going to make one that's gold and one that's pink. So I'll come back when they are done. Right, here we go. All three are made, and I have glazed the edges of both sides of these cute little shapes. And what we need to do now is we now need to glaze the edges, so the inside and the outside edges. And what I've got here is just a little metal stick, and I've popped a little bit of blue tack on it because I'm just going to use that to support them in place whilst I glaze the outside. So I'm just going to gently press them on. I don't want to distort their shape at all. I'm just going to gently press it on, and that is what is just going to hold them in place whilst I glaze them. So I'm just going to show you really quickly how I glaze them, and what I might do at this point is just speed up the video. So here's a little bit of high-speed glazing for you. We're just going to cover the outside of it with glaze, just using a very fine paintbrush, just to glaze it on, just making sure that we are meeting up with the edges that we have previously glazed. And you can see how this blue tack really holds these in place really well, and you can get a nice coat. So once they're done, we will pop them onto our little pot just to dry, and I will probably come back tomorrow morning and finish them off. Okay, so we are back now, and our little shapes are all made and glazed, and I'm going to show you some ideas as promised for how we can use them. And I again appear to have taken clumsy pills because I am literally dropping everything today, so please just bear with me. I think it's because I'm asthmatic and I have taken just a teeny weeny little bit more Ventolin than I perhaps would normally, which is just kind of giving me the shakes. So if you are an asthma sufferer out there, you will know what I mean. You get the Ventolin shakes. So I'm not nervous, trust me. But here we go. Look, there's one little pretty simple earring that you can make with these shapes. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to join all of the shapes together. So with another jump ring, I'm going to pop that one on, and then I'm going to pop the next shape on and close that up. So we're going to end up with a sort of waterfall-ish, cascade-ish string-ish, not quite sure how you'd word it, of these shapes. And because they are able to move around, you've got that kind of fluid motion within the earrings. And these are really simple to make, you know. I mean, if I can make them, you can make them. See, clumsy pearls again, just dropping everything today. Don't give me anything fragile because it will get broken. So, just popping them together. There we go. That is another earring that you could make. You could just join them all together, or imagine that as a pendant or a necklace, which would look really cool. So another idea of what you could do is you could, rather than put them one going down and then another one going down, is that you could actually attach them all to the top as well. So, yep, again, I've dropped them. Honestly. So I'm just going to pull these apart and I'm going to attach this to the top. Like so. And so we end up with all three of the jump rings and all three of the shapes attached to the top, which again is just going to give another look. And pop that one off. Yeah, I didn't quite open that wide enough, but a little bit of gentle persuasion. There we go. And we're off. So pop these on. And I just wanted to give you some ideas on how we could use them. And I've got a really funky one coming up. So hold fire, don't go anywhere. It is coming. So there we go. See a little dangly kind of, just a kind of dangly pair of earrings. Just really cute. I really like them. I like this colour combination as well. I'm thinking that that is a really nice, it's quite festive, but equally it would work well for a wedding or something. So you can see that I have used the third rung down on it, but what you could do is you could make one of each size and then put them one inside the other. So you could make them as distinct rings and then put them one inside the other, which would be another way of doing it. But I want to show you my next way of doing it because I think this is a winner. This is my favourite way of doing it. And I made these little beads a while ago and I'm just going to grab one of them, and it's a little triangle shaped bead and it's got a little it's like a cap, but it's a cap with a loop on the top. And you can see that I have now turned that little shape into a little frame for my bead. I mean, how gorgeous is that? I love it. And you can imagine if you made them in, you could make them in all sorts of colours. You could make rainbow ones. And I'm going to show you how to make those little tiny beads with those little bead caps. Those kind of like tops to them. I don't really quite sure what we call them, but you can see how, or you could have it like that. Your world is your oyster. Just go out and play and have fun and experiment. And so, yeah, so this is my review. I am not paid to review this product. Amazon has not sent it to me, or the supplier, whoever they were. See, I don't even know who they are, who makes them. They've not paid me to promote these. I just thought I would show them to you because I like to share the things that I actually use and will use, and I hate wasting money, and I would hate for you to waste money on something that I didn't think was of any use. So if you've enjoyed that tutorial, please subscribe to my channel and I look forward to seeing you soon. Don't forget to hit the bell button because then you'll get notifications of all subsequent videos. And that's it. I'm off. Bye.